magazine. My name is Jo Elvin. Wow, this is an amazing turnout for probably one of the most anticipated events at the Glamour Beauty Festival. We're going to be trying to pull off a live cover shoot. Now, we haven't actually done a cover shoot before in front of such a huge audience. There's normally like a core team of people. There's been a bit of sort of like organised chaos backstage. There's always organised chaos on the photo shoot, so you've at least got that experience live. So I'm going to be introducing a photographer, a hair and makeup artist, a stylist, and of course, an amazing cover girl. So should we bring out our panel now for you to meet? Come on out, Mr. David Baker and Rita Ora. Damon shoots a lot of covers for us, and Rita is one of my favourite cover girls. I'm not just saying that because she's here. She works so hard and always looks so great. And we're going to show you a bit of what they're going to be doing here. And while they're rocking it there, can I please get the rest of our wonderful panel out? Hairdresser Chris Appleton, makeup artist Mary Greenwell, and fashion director of Glamour Natalie Hartley. Photographer would take a picture, it would take about 10 minutes for us to hold the road. Now everybody on the shoot can see what's going on live all the time, so this is what you're seeing. Live photo shoot, here we go. There you go, that's a wrap. Quickest cover shoot, that's going to be a Guinness record, if nothing else. Please have a seat, everybody. I'm going to stand. This is also the most production we've had on one of these, so I kind of don't really know what to do with myself. I'm just sort of going to stand here, Chelsea, with Damon. No, don't be silly, the celebrity sits down. Tell me guys, one of the things I'm really interested in, this is a very small part of the team that puts a cover together. By the time that we've got to this stage, there's been people like our entertainment director, Associate Editor James, has spent a year arguing with Rita's manager and publicist about whether or not we can have her for the cover, all of those things. There's a lot of people but this is the core team, sort of like styling, makeup, hair, obviously the cover girl, photographer. They let me come along sometimes, I'm the editor. Who's in charge on the cover shoot, guys? Yeah, Damon. But where does it start? I mean, Rita, tell me. I mean, you're somebody who's completely in demand for covers all the time. I think you've done 3 Glamour covers? Thank you. That's all right, let's do a 4. I've done it now. But how do you choose which covers you will and won't do? What goes into it for you? Oh yeah, I forgot you guys. Yeah, I told you, it's all going to be on the seat of my pants.
Sorry, I can't really move in this talk. Hi everyone. Okay, so the answer is, first of all, Jo's awesome. One of the best editors ever.
That's true.
And I'm really lucky because usually, you get magazines who have their go-to kind of hairdressers and makeup artists, and I've grown up with Damon and Chris, and I find it, and Mary actually, I find it really amazing that, I met the style team and everything through Jo, and so I think that it's a corporate thing, everyone kind of puts their input. I always have a vision, like I want my hair like this, or I've seen like a Basquiat piece, or like an old Madonna video, or whatever I love at the time, whether it's someone walking down the street, and I kind of feel like, that's what I want to do. How are we going to make that into a Rita version? And so that's the beginning of the conversation. Then we see where Jo's head's at with where what she's got coming up, or what she's had, and what she doesn't want, what she doesn't want.
Well, it's interesting because I remember, and I wonder how each of you feels about, because at the end of the day, for me, the cover it's the shop window. It's what's going to sell it in a heartbeat. You, the readers, are going to decide in a split second whether you want that cover or not. So you, the creative team, have a meeting, and then Natalie said to me, how do you feel about grey hair? I really don't like that idea at all. And I'm just wondering do you just think, oh God, I wish Jo was dead so we could just do that? How does it work?
No, I love doing so many different looks. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I do change my hair every day, and makeup and clothes. I find it literally incredible. I love dressing up.
Yeah.
So, Nat,
I have, like, if it's working. But yeah, that's what I think I love about working with you, is that you are brave and you don't really care, you're up for anything. I think what we do when we start a shoot is I run ideas by you, I work with Damon, and we kind of decide the concept and a general vibe and idea of what's going on. But ultimately, we want to do something that we think Rita will feel comfortable with, because if you're not comfortable, you won't want to do it. And I think we try and come up with a trend and everything that's maybe not even a trend, it's just something that we think that you would look great in, but you also will have that vibe that will kind of show everyone that this is me. You don't feel like you're kind of too dressed up or too over the top, and you don't feel comfortable. And then everyone else comes in and we think about hair, makeup and the whole lot. But it's a joint collaboration, I think.
And it is a lot of give and take, isn't it? I mean, Chris, you're Rita's, your big brother, family man, go-to. I see you on her Instagram all the time.
She's actually moved into my place, by the way.
Well,
She's my hi everyone.
we'd all like to live with our hairdresser. Rita gets to live the dream. But so how do you manage that line between what's right for a particular magazine or an ad campaign and what Rita wants? How do you tread that line?
I guess, that's where you come into, you don't know too much. I mean, we're always up for pushing the boundaries. I'm always looking for inspiration, like constantly looking at different ideas, and I'll just throw them over to Rita and I'll be like, look, I love this, what do you think? Or Damon will send me like last week he sent me a reference, like I love this for a future shoot. So we just bounce off each other. Usually we like to push the boundaries. Rita's young, she's beautiful, and she can take off any look. So she's my perfect muse. You're my muse, babe. No, seriously, she is, because you guys have seen she's done everything from really short hair to long hair to coloured hair, and not everyone can pull that off. So my job is so much fun. When you come to a cover shoot, it's more kind of what sort of people want to see, so you have to tailor it down a little bit, you have to meet people's needs. So that's where I will go, let's do grey hair, and Joe will go, no.
Maybe one day.
Maybe we'll work with that texture, but let's tame it down a little bit.
Well,
so that's
I'm thinking pink hair now. I want to do pink hair now. It's fine. So, what's your approach to Mary? Do you have a different approach to covers than you do inside magazine editorial? Or?
No, I don't, because I think in the end I want the girls to look absolutely stunning and beautiful and very comfortable in their own skin. Yeah. And for me, too much people on the excluding Rita, because Rita's a star in her own right. But normally, being a photographer and a stylist who are the most important people, definitely photographer. And this is where I think, Damon is amazing. He's so young and so brilliant, and just catches the moment. I mean, those pictures we saw up there on that screen.
That happened today.
That's 5 pictures. Some photographers will take all day to get to that point. So this is where someone like Damon is such a joy to be with, and why we all love him so much, on a personal level as well as on a professional level. And the fact that Rita and Damon are best friends with Chris, and I want to consider myself part of the family as well. So we are like the Glamour family. And this is why we work towards it, because actually this complete trust.
Yeah. Now, I've met a lot of photographers and stylists over the years who feel differently and feel badly about covers. They're sort of like, the covers think, oh my god, that's so stressful, let's get that out of the way, so then we just get on with our fun, creative stuff. It's like, what about you, Damon? How do you feel about covers specifically? Is this thing on?
Is it on?
This is the last thing we thought we'd do, was the mic, so...
Hello? How was my show? Sorry.
How do you like shooting covers? Do you like...
I mean, I don't really plan a cover. I feel like when we shoot together, it's like anything could be a cover. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't really plan a necessary look, we just go for it, and whatever we think is a good look and a good cover, that's... it's very,
I think there's a chemistry there, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure.
There's the chemistry between Rita and Damon, more importantly, that if there is nothing
chemistry-wise going on, then you don't get a great picture, I think.
I think that to kind of come to the point is that we're all saying the same thing. Without a vibe, there's nothing. Without kind of taste, it's hard to figure out where we're going forward. I mean, everybody in this room obviously has some taste to be here and be interested in what's happening. It's like, it's called being a visionary and having a vision and making it come to life. The problem is people just don't know how to sometimes make it come to life. Now that's the kind of formula that is hard to figure out. And now, you know, when I was 16 growing up, I just used to buy clothes in Portwell Market and rip them up and just make them into something, and people used to think I was crazy. People still think I'm crazy. But it's good crazy, you know? It's not a forceful crazy. It's nothing that it's forceful, it's effortless. It's a bit like taking a moment to think to yourself and think, how do I want to be perceived? How is this magazine going to be portrayed? What is the influence that we're doing this month? And what do we want kids to kind of grow up and think about us, you know what I mean? And so I think it comes to the kind of your inner peace and what you want to achieve. And I'm grateful that we get to work with people that we actually like. Do you know what I mean? It's like, imagine working with someone that we don't.
I love going to shoots, but I like going for the lunch.
I love when this joke comes in, so what's going on? And it's just like, no, yes, no, yes, no.
That makes you sound really lazy. That's good. But tell me about this, because I remember, what's it like to be the one who has to really emote in front of the camera? Where does it come from, that confidence? Because when David wanted to take my picture once at a shoot, and I was like, I would rather die. And he said, because I'm just too self-conscious to do that, and he said, I'll tell you what, I'll clear the set of just you and me. And I was like, that sounds like 1,000 times worse. Just sort of like that intimacy between two people. Do you remember the first time you did that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, for example, let's take Glamour. It's always been this amazing magazine. Me growing up, I'd be like, whoa, who's on the cover and what are they talking about? And I'd always go to that section of like the stories where the breakups and all that stuff, because I'd like to know what's going on, you know, being young and thinking I was so in love all the time. But the first time I did it, I just wanted to impress people, you know? It was like, oh my God, it's such a massive glossy cover. And then I got into the shoot and I was thinking, you know what? I'm just gonna do me. And it starts off by that self-confidence, which I didn't have. I really loved it. When I grew up, no kid, teenager has that. And if you do, you're really lucky, and I'm really jealous. But you grow into it, and you know, what's your point? You know, what are you trying to do? What's your target? And that's it, really. It's just thinking about the future without being in the future, which is pretty difficult, but I kind of feel like you just got to wing it, you know.
Have any of you ever been on cover shoots where it's just, oh my God, it's just the worst day, it's just not working? How do you cope with that? That's me, nodding furiously. Tell me a story.
No. I'll ask you, but it's, no. Well, I mean, it's like no different to anyone else's job when you have someone that you don't get on with, I guess, within the environment. I think everyone has that in their industry, but yeah, there's times when things don't work out, you don't click or whatever. I think that's the nice thing about what everyone has here is that we all have worked together a number of times, so it does make things a lot easier. But yeah, sometimes you do just mentally have that where you walk in and people just don't gel. You probably have that.
Yeah. You know, obviously it happens less and less the more you know people, right? So, you know, we're blessed to sort of be able to pick and choose who you want to work with. Like someone you know, particularly like them, literally. But then you have other people you love to work with. Like, I love working with you. And so, you know, then it becomes easy to choose. Thanks to people like you too, Joe. You're very
Well,
influential in
thanks.
that.
I mean, you know, it's so hard, isn't it? Because it's like you're in charge of the magazine, but so many people have to come together. Cover, and that's not a cover, but I can't make that cover. So we all kind of need each other.
I think one of the key things is like the energy of the shoot. I think it's all about the team and everyone working together. And if it is a bad shoot, and the odd time that I've been on a shoot and it has been a bad energy, it's because someone's too strong an idea and won't let go of it. And the rest of the team are not playing along with that. So I think it's always about being professional, because we are all friends and we all get on really well, but we are all professional in our own right. So we've all got a job to do. I've got to make sure our hair looks great. Mary, you've got to make sure her face looks good. And Damien's got to get the shot. So at the end of the day, we respect each other as well. And if something's not working, you know, we talk and communicate. And I think it's very much an energy thing on a shoot. And if something, you know, you have a set idea, quite often it never ends up becoming that anyway. It never ends up becoming that. You know, you've got to be open and creative and have that vision just to let it flow and let things work and go, actually, do you know what, we can start off with this, but this is working, this is hot, this is better, you know? Because the camera tells a different story. Sometimes it looks amazing in the flash. For example, hair. You know, sometimes I'll do a hair and it looks great in the mirror, and I'll take a picture and it just doesn't work. So you've got to not be afraid to go back in there, change it, you know, and work with the team.
But I think, Damien, you're the sort of photographer, and there are so many different schools where on our shoots, there's, you know, you're not intimidated by there being tons of people there. It honestly does often feel like a nightclub, one of Damon's shoots. It's like the music's blaring, everybody's there, there's tons of people. Damon's friends turn up. I remember Cara turned up and caused her at one of our shoots, which was actually, it was like a couple of puppy dogs in a sort of like, I don't know, a Hessian bag or something. But, you know, how many people typically would there be on a shoot? Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. I love feeding off other people's energy, I think. I'm not really, you know, focused on what's going around me. I'm just pretty much engaged in what's right in front of me. I think so, you know, I like people's energy. Fucking still looking at it.
You know what, I want to know what you guys want to know, because the thing is, we've all been doing covers and all sorts of magazine shoots for so long, I don't think I dare even add up the amount of years between us that we've been doing these things. And it still surprises me that people ask me questions like, oh, you know, do you pay the celebrities to be on front? Have I ever paid you, Rita? No, sorry. Is that something I should have brought up? No, I think that, but that's like just one misconception I can think of, where the celebrity's there because they're obviously promoting an album or a film or something like that, so we don't do that. But what sort of other things, I'd love to throw to the floor, what sort of other things do you want to know about cover shoots?
Questions.
Don't be shy. I know that Rita fans are not shy.
Are you serious, guys?
Someone has a question.
Oh yeah, how much photoshopping goes on?
How much photoshopping? Well, the thing about this, and I'm really happy to answer this question, I hope you think that you're not...
Well, now Facetune exists, everything's over!
There is that, you know, we're all sitting here with makeup on today and all that, but actually, and Mary touched on this yesterday in a talk about her life in makeup, that it's actually, I think people are so aware and so literate about photoshopping that that's not something that, it's just not cool to make somebody not look like who they are. Someone like, you know, it's no secret that celebrities wear them because they're talented, because they look great, magazines sell because the people on the covers look great. But and I think it was my sister-in-law who said to me, do you, you know, do those models, they just look nothing like that when they turn up for shoots? I'm sorry, that's exactly what they look like. You know, they're great-looking people to begin with. So I think that the best magazines don't have to go crazy with that sort of thing. And I think the public is so aware that if you really do a terrible job and overdo it with retouching, people are on you. It's like, you know, we're all completely accountable now in this age, I think. What do you think, Mary? I mean, you're the one who's doing the skin on these things.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that retouching is becoming less and less fashionable. I mean, especially now someone as beautiful as Rita in front of the camera. What are you going to do? What are you going to do that will keep her expression and her beauty? So, yeah, it's been overdone. It's been completely overdone. So I agree. It's less is more now. It went too far. It went one stage too far. When photographers were cutting off the nose to put on a different nose, to put on a different ear, to put on a different hand, and you know, it's all going too fast. It's been brought back a lot. But don't be confused. I mean, Avedon did a lot of photoshopping. We all think it's new in the modern age, but he was the first one to really do massive photoshopping. But it was so beautifully done and so precise that we never thought about it at the time. But since digital came along, we can see the reality of the picture there in front of us. And then you see it come out 3 months later, and you know, suddenly someone goes Photoshop. But you know, we can see how much or how little has been done from the reality of the digital work on the screen, just like the way you saw it. Now, if you saw that picture up there will be very little Photoshop on that. And you know why? Because she looks amazing. The lighting was perfect. So it's all back down to good lighting in the first place. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us would apologise for lighting somebody and styling them and making their hair look great, making their makeup look as good as possible, because we don't get a good picture unless someone like Rita feels like she looks great. Have you ever had that experience of thinking, oh God, you're just not giving it because you don't feel right?
Yeah, you know, sometimes it gets to a point where it's too late to kind of like change it because it's already in print or whatever, but you kind of get an instinct as soon as you're on set and you take that first picture, you kind of know what type of photo shoot it's going to be. You know, you see that rack of clothes, and then you see all those kind of products on the table, and then your makeup, if it's colourful, if it's not, and you know, there's people that I work with that I never met before, you know, and then you're like, oh, okay, obviously you know their work, but it's, you know, it's just kind of like you're giving your face to someone, basically, you know, so it comes back to branding, and it goes back to kind of like your reputation, and you're kind of like, what do you want people to remember? Now you've got the internet, now you've got HDTV, and like, I have a funny story about lighting. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay. So, I was doing this charity event, Time for Change. It was a few years back, yeah. And I met one of my idols, like Madonna, which is like my idol of life. And so I was waiting in the room, literally shivering, more shivering than I would ever have imagined. And my sister's like, are you okay? You look really crazy. I'm like, I think I'm gonna be sick. And so she walks in with lighting. How major is that? So she walked in like this, with lighting like this, like, and I'm like, what is going on? So I'm thinking,
here, I'm totally going to start.
So I'm thinking, this is amazing. It's like Madonna walking with lights, what's happening? And she's like, and I'm like, hi, so nice to meet you, so nice to meet you. And then she was like, this isn't working. Can we just kneel down here on the floor? I was like, yeah, okay. So I kneeled on the floor, and then we had the whole conversation because light was better on the floor. Can you believe that? It's Madonna, she can do whatever she wants. But I mean, that for me was like so major. And I said, can I have a picture on my phone? She went, yeah, we're gonna have to kneel down. So that's a lighting story.
Give it 35 years, and we're having a conversation with Rita on the floor.
But you know, she can do what she wants. She's fabulous. But to answer your question, yes, there's been moments where pictures have come out and I've been like, you know, we could have done that a little bit more different. But you know what? Everything is a learning curve, and at the end of the day, nowadays, luckily, fashion and art, it's kind of like all intertwined, and you can always make an excuse for something. Oh no, it was meant to be like that. Like this pink stain on my trouser was meant to be there. You know?
Style now.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, yes. Now
See, now we're getting comfortable.
Let's take it first.
Do you choose what you wear?
Well, no, we kind of have a conversation, right?
We do it together, I guess.
We do it together. I mean, I'm obsessed with knowing what's out, and like, you know, the new. I'm always online, just kind of like looking at what's going on. But there's jobs like as a styling job. That's what you do as a job. But me being OCD, I always like to know what's happening. But it starts off with the conversation and what I guess the vibe we want to give off, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have a mood board and we kind of show things, and like we said, it's not really necessarily about trends, but more about things that Rita would look amazing in, or we think she could really pull off and have fun with, basically.
Yeah.
More about having fun. All these shoots that we all do together is about having a laugh, and I think that's what we want to try and convey, because if you're not having a laugh, the pictures don't look good. So.
Sweatsuit. I don't look good in a sweatsuit. Actually, I have this.
I've seen you in a tracksuit.
Tracksuit, yeah. We could do here comes the plug, a Rita Ora Adidas tracksuit, original.
Don't worry, Johnson. Okay, who else? This lady here, the dark.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is there any set routine that you follow before a photo shoot, like waking up at a certain time or going around like that?
She's always on time, always punctual.
Yeah, well, I try to drink as much water as possible the night before. You know, because I travel a lot, the jet lag really does hit me, but I just try to drink as much water as possible, and I'm not going to lie to you, I get excited when I do cover shoots, so I kind of can't really sleep, so I'm like really excited to go out and do it. It's just water. I know it's boring, but that's really all I do. I just drink a lot of water.
And read the magazine cover to cover, so you know it inside out.
Yeah, exactly. And that.
Okay, let me choose this thing.
From a styling point of view, how do you go about like researching your clothes, and how do you decide what you think would be good to bring to a shoot?
So, like I said, I would start with whoever we're styling. and you start with their background, maybe what they've been doing at the moment, what they've been wearing. I mean, Rita, generally, I think you have a kind of style that, even though you're up for changing things, there is still a certain essence about how you like to be and dress and that kind of thing. So always kind of keep it in that vein. And then, yeah, work around different ideas that have come out from the catwalks or from other magazines, I guess. You kind of look through things, and then I would go through as well with Damon, and we chat about everything to kind of develop the idea. But generally we'll bring enough stuff on the day, because it is a collaboration. It's not just about me saying, you have to wear this today or whatever. It's basically, when Rita gets there, we'll go through everything and we'll decide together, and what works with hair and makeup and everything, to make sure it's the best, and that people can look at it and be inspired by it, but also that it feels real, I guess. We always want it to be real.
Okay, I'm going to run over here with my microphone to this. I'm trying to be fair. We'll never hear you over, so maybe you can...
How long have you been modelling for?
Mary, do you mean me?
Chris? You know, I start, obviously, I got signed to my record deal when I was 17, so I never really had a dream of doing anything apart from singing, and I was really lucky to kind of release my music and had amazing feedback, and from that came a lot of other opportunities, you know, starting a clothing line, being in movies and going on covers, and so I kind of love to do a bit of everything. I've always been a bit of a Keesey. I've always been a bit of a, how do you call it? You know, I like to put my fingers in all the pies. Because, you know, for me, I've been obsessed with my background, and my mother and father I've loved. They start their own businesses and brands, and so I've always been really kind of, I don't want to say it, but, you know, I've always been taught to kind of make something out of nothing, kind of, you know? I know it's really hard to say that, but my dad owned pubs, and my mum's a psychiatrist, and we kind of came from Kosovo when I was 1, so my parents learned English, and it was kind of starting from scratch, and so I just did it because people kind of wanted and asked me to, and I really enjoy entertaining, you know, and for me, modelling and movies and designing and singing, it's all one. It's artists, being an artist, being creative, and so that's, I guess since I was 17.
Like 2 years?
Yeah. Turned 19 yesterday.
Lady in the red.
How far do you think like the cover sets for us magazine, like how to deal with actual together?
That's an interesting question.
Good question.
Who's that for? Well, I think we try to make it represent what we're talking about. I think with Glamour, it is, you know, it's a big magazine. It's a magazine that we want to have a lot of readers, so I want as many people as possible to look at that cover and think, oh yeah, I could be that girl. Well, not necessarily look like that girl, although that's part of it. It could be, you could read something in the cover lines that we put on that says, oh, that speaks to me, that's what I'm going through at the moment. And the cover star is really crucial. They have to be, obviously they have to be gorgeous. You know, everybody likes looking at good-looking people, so, you know, and then quite often that's Miss Rita. But they have to be someone who's got a story, and this is one of the reasons that, and want to chat. Rita's one of my favourite cover girls. I'm probably embarrassed now, but because not only that you look great, but she's not media trained to a boring degree. She's not scared to have an opinion. She's not scared to tell a story. And I think that that's really important. I think there's a lot of cover girls who, you know, they're so frightened of what social media is going to say, which I completely understand, but it just means that their personality is kind of stripped away, and you don't get that with Rita. So that's really important to me. And I think that the magazine evolves. You know, we tried, Natalie came on as fashion director a couple of years ago, and I think really changed the aesthetic, made it a lot more modern, a lot more cool. And so we tried to make sure that the front cover of the magazine tells you the story as well, that we're evolving and we're looking at what's going on around us and being influenced by different things. Anything to add to that?
Well, no, I
cover obviously is the thing that sells the issue. It's the very first thing you look at. The whole package is important, and that's why it's so important that when we're doing all these shoots that there is that something when you're picking that shot that it makes you want to go out and grab that, and you want to be interested in that person and understand, oh yeah, I know Rita, but actually this is an interesting shot and I want to understand a bit more about what's going on here.
I'm going to ask you a question, David. I don't think you're going to like this question. Do you ever, and whether it's with me or with other editors, do you ever sort of like start shooting it and think, well, God, I don't think that one's the cover at all, but she seems really keen on that one. Do you go in, do you think, how do you handle that? Do you just go along with it, or?
No, I mean, I'm open. You know, I think you know, obviously there's some pictures I don't like, but I have a discussion with that person, you know, whoever it may be.
You should talk about, you know, you study this. You kind of, he always downplays it. Like,
He does, that's
true.
true.
He has a lot of knowledge, and you know, being as young as you, tell him how old you are.
25.
Are you? No, I just thought, no, anyway. I explained, because you really studied it, like you're older than your age, if that makes any sense. I don't want you to downplay it in a great way, but I think you have a great eye.
Thank you.
Anyway,
well, she said it better, I guess.
Yeah, but it's. I always think on a cover shoot as well, I always liken it to when you cook pancakes. And so I hate it when I turn up and someone says, right, we're doing the cover first, because I always feel like it's like that pancake. The first one always comes out a bit crap. And everyone's a bit stiff. So, yeah, so do you know what I mean? I'm just like, you have to be relaxed.
Yeah, the first look, obviously. The first look is the base area. That's always going to be a little bit uncomfortable. But, you know, once you get past that, I think everything works out fine. Having review is obviously always great.
How do you make really stiff people relax? What's your... Oh, she's so good at it. But, yeah.
I don't play Spice Girls. Kind of works. You know, I have a conversation with people beforehand. You know, I really want to get to know who I'm photographing, get to know who they are, what they're about. I think that's very important.
I just want to add what Damon does at local judges. He actually gets into the pose with the
Yes, that's true.
It's the person on the camera. He'll do it with them. He'll be with them all the way. So they're kind of dancing at the end. And we're just watching with this very loud music, this fantastic atmosphere, really enjoying the dance between the two, whoever you have in front of your camera. When you're with Rita, it's really exciting because you see us are dancing. Yeah. Just like then, you know, in those 3 minutes. So it's a really natural process for you because you are dancing with the person on your camera. But not everyone does. You're not, you're not bossing them or sharing with them.
And it is incredible the difference. I mean, I've been on some shoots and you know, it's different things work for different photographers, but sometimes the photographer's the kind of personality and they don't speak to anybody. And there's no music. And you've got the celebrity going, does he like it? Does he? I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know. So, you know, this is why we work with you so much.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be fair with my spreading of the room. This lady over here, can you shout your question?
Can you hear me? Obviously this is your regime for when you're doing a cover shoot or a closing appearance. But on a day-to-day basis, if you're not working, do you still get your makeup professionally done, or would you just do it somewhere? If you were to do a public appearance?
Hell to the no. I would be in my bed, I'd be at home. I mean, I love, like I said, dressing up, and you know, I really love putting on a costume and kind of putting on clothes, and it's not a costume, it's my life, I love doing it. But when I'm at home, I'm just at home, you know, I really am, and I just like...
But you also live with your hairdressers.
Yeah. And he's like, babe, do you want to kind of just dye your hair? And I'm like, yeah, but we're about the car's on. And he's like, well, all right, well, let's just do it while you watch your TV. But it's very effortless. But to answer your question, I treat work and my personal life very separately. I try to kind of keep that separation.
But does she drive you crazy, Chris? So, like, can you just do it tonight again? I know I'm not doing a shoot.
He said to me in the car, we've got to dye your hair tonight because we've got to go to Italy on Tuesday. And I was like, oh, for God's sake.
What colour are you dyeing it? You can tell us.
Yeah, just back button. She's changing it back to blonde. No, I think, you know, if someone's your muse, you're always looking at how you can evolve them and how you can change it and do something different. And sometimes it's just a point of difference. Like the other day she had these braids and we put like I went upstairs in the room and found some Chanel necklaces. And I was like, oh, I'm going to put these in here. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, let's just try it. I did it. And then she's like, yeah, okay, I like it. You know, it's just always kind of, I'm always looking at her trying new stuff. So I guess living with her is a bit of a pain because it never stops. She's like, Chris, just watch TV, eat.
Is there much creative conflict between you, and how do you resolve that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes she'll say no, and, you know, I was like, okay, she's the boss at the end of the day.
Just shave her head in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly. But usually,
You gotta
we're
worry
pretty much
about
on the
that.
same level, so we're lucky.
This lady here.
Hi, you mentioned about wanting to keep your personal life and work life separate, and obviously part of the work life is being photographed after some shoots or something. But then how do you deal? I noticed your tweet this morning about the pictures of you doing the slick stunt, which you made look really good.
Thank you.
When you see something like that and know that you don't have control over that photo, how does that make you feel?
For anyone who didn't hear, when you don't have control over photos that are out there, how do you handle that?
It's part of our generation. It's social media. It's what it is. It's about kind of dealing with what's important and focusing on that, really. It's like fish and chips the next day, if that makes any sense. I think what stands its ground is your statistics, what you've done in your career, what you're influenced by, and what you stand for, and your morals and your background. And even if you're 25 or you're 45 or you're 50, it's your 50th birthday, and you're drunk or whatever, who cares? It's your birthday. You can do what you want on that day. And at the end of the day, there's going to be judgments in anything that you do, in any kind of aspect of work, and it's just comes back to your security. And like, I know who I am, I know my fans, I know the records I sell, I know what I do and what I design, and at the end, if that's not getting tarnished, then I'll do what I like.
I think we've got time for two more. This lady right at the back.
What's your favourite cover shoot you've done so far?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
What's been your favourite cover shoot you've done so far?
Your favourite cover shoot?
I can't see you. Oh, hi. My favourite cover shoot.
Careful now.
Oh. No, I think it was the first time, I think I was wearing Prada with pink, and I had my hair in a bob, and I was like this, it was Madonna. Was it Dior?
That was your very, I think
That was my first. Yeah,
Which was a Glamour.
that was my favourite. I'm not even just saying that, because that was the first time I did like a beauty, how do I say it? Like a beauty fashion kind of mini magazine, and it was the first time. I think that's when Hot Right Now came out. No,
That's right.
yeah, and that was the first to kind of really put me on the cover, and that always is going to stick with me. I still have it at home, so that's my favourite one. It was Dior, right?
We like to be first.
Yay!
I've got time for one more. This lady here.
So how do you choose the makeup you're going to put on?
Rita, it's a discussion.
It's a discussion with Dave and Natalie and Rita, and we decide which look to go forward. For example, today, Rita, when we met this morning, we decided I just want to look really young and fresh, and I don't want to wear my red mouth, which of course she's known for. And funnily enough, I went to the house totally expecting to put Rita's red mouth on her. So, you're all thinking she's unmade up. But she actually is quite unmade up. But we wanted her to be really gentle and fresh and the beautiful creature she is, because Rita's very young, aren't you, darling?
Yeah, 25.
Well, so that's it. So the choice is really talked about between all of us.
It's such a team effort, and I really am very lucky to have quite the dream team here who works. So this is why this has been so much fun for me today, because it's almost like creating the cover shoot atmosphere. I always make every excuse I can to make sure I can be a cover shoot. It's been so much fun. Thank you very much to our panel. Thanks for being here.
Your way to the exits at the rear of the theatre. The morning session has now closed. Thank you for visiting Glamour Beauty Festival in association with Fear.
I spoke to you on Friday.
I spoke to you on Friday because I won the trip to Hong Kong.
Oh, you did? No way.
Yeah, how was it?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Is there any tips?
That side, please. That side, yeah.